So everybody on social media and in the news are debating about JayZ's hair. Is it real? Is it not real? Were the locks real? Were they not? And while people are debating whether or not it's real, whether it's a wig, why he grew it out and then suddenly cut it, I am paying attention to the timing of all of this. Welcome to the conversation. I'm Megan J. Baker, Master Wealth Strategist and Financial Intuitive, and I help people align their money with the life they want to live. And here we have real conversations about money, mindset, financial alignment, and what it actually takes to build the life that you want to live. So let's get into it. So because wealth is not simply about how much money you make, it is about your intentionality, right? It's about what you're intentionally building with it. And I wanted to go a little bit further with the JayZ Reasonable Doubt anniversary conversation, because over the past few weeks people have been debating back and forth whether about his hair, right? Analyzing it, why would he all of a sudden decide to comb out the locks and then and then cut it all off and all of this kind of stuff. Now, when I'm going to be honest with you, because I do believe that 50% of, I do believe that 60% of how we move is a spiritual move, whether it's deemed to be good or bad, right? And when he initially started combing out his locks, because I have a number of friends who have locks, and I was educated on the difference between locks and dreads, etc., etc. One of the main things that was constantly drilled to me is that when a person cuts off their locks, when they cut their hair, things of that nature, it is a spiritual move. It is a form of release, transformation, transition. And so because our hair holds a lot of it also holds the story of our journey. And so when initially he combed out his locks, I thought, oh, okay, he's getting ready to go through a major transformation. He is saying, hey, this guy who had these locks cannot go into the next phase of this journey. And so I thought that was really cool. But then he started having but then the concert started happening, and then I realized, because I'm just going to be real, I'm not a JayZ music fan. I just know who he is, and to be honest, I didn't start really following him or his wife until I started noticing their business moves, and that's when I got interested, really. But one of the things that I saw was, I said, oh, this is a strategy. This is a strategy, and it makes total, complete sense, what they are doing, right? And, and I understand that, I understand why people were curious about why he cut his hair, because, it's different and it got people talking. Exactly. So I think a part of that strategy was for spiritual purposes, because, like I said before, what hair represents, and it holds our story, it holds our memories, it holds our thoughts, things of that nature. It holds our stories, excuse me. But while everyone was focusing on his hair, I was paying attention to the timing of his appearances, the conversation surrounding his music, and seeing that it fell, all of these, the sequence of all these movements were happening before the anniversary of his this amazing album, Reasonable Doubt, the performances, the stadium announcements, the visibility, Beyonce, Rihanna, it was the combination, it all brought together a cultural conversation. And that's when I realized this is bigger than hair. This is bigger than hair. This is about strategy. JayZ and Beyonce are the example of what intentionality looks like when it comes to your life and to your business. And and I'm not saying that I know JayZ and Beyonce are planning this and that behind the scenes, but if you watch how they have moved in the past and over the past 1 or 2 decades, they don't do anything without it having a meaning, even to the point where the Beehive itself analyzes and does think pieces on social media surrounding their moves. And, oh, she wore black today. What does that mean? She wore purple and cut all her hair off. What does that mean? But I can clearly say that I don't know if any of those moves mean anything, but what I do know is that everything this man has done, from combing out his locks, even the reason why he grew his locks, in the vlog that Beyonce put out as a promotion for Sacred. Like, do I think they sat around and said, okay, June of 2026, you're going to comb out your locks. We're going to use it as a promotion for Sacred, and then we're going to do blah, blah, blah. No, I think he woke up one day and said, I'm ready for a change. I'm going to comb out my hair. And I think they talked about the spiritual meaning behind it, and because of what her hair care line stands for, because of the meaning that it has for them personally, and according to allegedly, this hair care line has been in the making for many years, and a part of his growing his locks was he also used Sacred products while they were testing them. So of course, if we're going to use let's vlog it and use it as a promotional material, to show people the power of this product and what it can do for them. It's like I just said, I don't know if the hair was a marketing plan, a personal choice, or simply something he wanted to do. I'm just giving you what my thoughts are on it, but that is not the point. The point is, when you study people who have built wealth at the level that they are, you begin to notice something. Their decisions rarely operate in isolation. One decision supports another decision. And it's almost as if it works systematically and in tandem. One business creates visibility for another business, right? One relationship opens the door for another opportunity, and et cetera, et cetera. And wealth is often built through connected decisions. This is why I wanted to talk to you all today about this, because it is not always one huge move that's going to change your life. Sometimes it's a sequence of things. It's a sequence. One decision leads to another decision, leads to another decision, or one decision leads to an open door. And then you decide, all right, am I going to walk through this open door? Does it align? So why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you because when we're talking about intentional living, your intentionality affects every aspect of your life. Survival mode gives no room for intention. Because survival mode is consistently reacting. I'm always reacting to a bill. I'm always reacting to a scenario or a situation. I don't care how much money is in a person's bank account. I have seen millionaires who are consistently reactive on a daily basis with no intention. However, there are people who don't have as much, don't have millions in their bank account, who are very intentional, but they live a life of peace, of gratitude, and of understanding. So think about your own life. Does your current job support the life that you desire to build? Because intentionality means that we're looking at every aspect of our life. We're looking at everything. Does your spending support the goals, your goals? Do your relationships support the goals that you want? Does the way that you use your time support your financial future? Because you can make good money and still feel like you're not getting anywhere. There's so many people that I sit with on a daily basis that are making 6, 7, 8 figures and still feel like they're not making enough, or still are like, yeah, I don't have a retirement. I wanted to use the JayZ situation to show an example of how when we make the decision that he had a vision, let's think about it in this term. When we want to live a life of intentionality, especially with our money, everything starts with the vision, the decision to have the vision, and then the decision after that. And so this man had made a decision to comb out his locks. He combed out the locks. And then from there, the opportunity came to create a vlog / commercial for Sacred Hair Care products, which caused people to talk about it even more on social media and in the news and in pop culture, which led for millions more people to go into stores and buy them. I was one of them, actually. Went and bought it. Love the hydrating kit. This is not a promo for their products. I'm just telling you my personal story. But it caused more people to go out to the store and actually purchase the items, which that causes more money to come into the company. Now they can keep their employees paid. Their employees keep their jobs. Now they may be able to open up another division of that company because now they have more customers, and now they grow that company and it's bringing more income into their home. And now they can also be better philanthropists. They can employ more people to open more businesses, all these different things. And so I'm saying that to say, your decision to be intentional with your money and how you move with it can create legacy that surpasses you. It can build you a life that not only benefits you, but that can benefit other people. But what I find is that a lot of us perish for a lack of knowledge, a lack of vision of our lives, right? And we say we want a lot of things, but how do we get them without going broke? And that is the importance of strategy. Strategic money supports a life that is intentionally chosen. So when you start looking at successful people, don't just look at what they have. And I would say even stop looking at the things that they possess, right? But I want you to pay attention to how their decisions connect. Pay attention to the businesses they build. Pay attention to the partnerships they create. Pay attention to the timing of their moves. Pay attention to what one decision makes possible for the next, because wealth leaves clues. So I want to leave you with this question. What are your current financial decisions intentionally building? Do those decisions support the life that you want? I want you to take time to really think about that, because to get the life that you want, it doesn't start with you making more money. I said this earlier in this conversation. It doesn't start with you making more money. It starts with you having a vision and making a decision. If this conversation gave you a different way to think about wealth, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Join me for more conversations around money, mindset, financial alignment, and building a life that you're excited to fund. And if you're ready to create a strategy around the life that you want to live, you can click the link in the description and schedule a 30-minute complimentary wealth strategy session with me. And thank you for joining the conversation. I'm Megan J. Baker, and I'll see you on the next one.